First frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan is looking to reach his first ranking event semi-final since the World Championship in 2022. That's, of course, when he won the record equaling 7th. Didn't make one last season. Will that change here in Tianjin today? He's up against Ali Carter. They did play in Shanghai, actually, a couple of months ago. And O'Sullivan won that one 6-3. But 16-1-0, that's the key stat, isn't it, really?
It is, but like you said earlier, the one is a significant one, having lost in 2 finals to O'Sullivan there. So, you know, he knows he can do it. There's a little bit of argy-bargy, as everyone knows, in that match. A little bit of a shoulder barge and a few words spoken. But they've played since, and it's one of those, you know, not huge rivalries, really, in the game. We've seen greater issues between players. As you say, the main issue is that Carter has only beaten him once in a long career.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the most one-sided head-to-head in the current game. Stephen Hendry beat to Terry Griffiths 17 times out of 17. So that was going back. But, well, we'll see. I think Ali always comes into these matches believing he can win. Don't think that's the thing. It's just it hasn't been happening for him over the years. Not seen too much of him, of course, on the main tables this week, but he's played some good stuff along the way. Beaten to level up and then won the decider there. So on the outside tables, he's been coming through pretty strongly. Of course, O'Sullivan has been on this table since day one.
Yeah, and I think we have seen all of O'Sullivan's matches as usual because he's on the main table, and I think he's played pretty well. I mean, I haven't always thought that. There's been patches where he looks a little bit in and out, a little bit ragged. Other times he's doing what he always does, scoring big on tables that are conducive to exactly that. Anyway, you can see from the player view, if there's a little sliver of that red sticking out, that's all there is. Ali thinks otherwise. Not quite hard enough.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
I think the conditions have been really excellent all week in Tianjin, where, you know, a lot of tournaments in Asia, occasionally the tables play differently to what they would perhaps enable the big scoring all those centuries there's been. Barrage.
And each of these two have made 6 apiece.
I'm not entirely sure what hit first. I think it was red. I'm sure Peggy Lee is spot on with that. It'd be lovely to see it again, but I suspect it won't be. It was a bit touch and go. I do think, as I said yesterday in here with Alan, that safety plays a big part, especially if we have got a lot of scoring being done, because, you know, you have to make sure you get your first opportunity in a match or in a frame, and often that involves a safety exchange which leads to that chance coming. It's not as if it becomes redundant. Safety, if anything, is more important.
Yeah, and we've seen O'Sullivan prepared to play that game all week. I mean, the first frame yesterday against McGill was quite tactical. McGill won it, but O'Sullivan dug in, and there were other times in the match where he had to do the same. Well, he's not played that one very well. And there you are. I mean, that red, it could really have finished anywhere, but the minute it was going back towards Bull, you fancied he would leave it on somewhere.
So that is the point, isn't it? You have a safety exchange in some of these frames, not all of them, of course, but in the ones that you get a safety exchange, if you win that, then you've got to follow it up by potting the balls. And it's not a bad table. It's just a question of the first red winning the tactical side of things.
Of course, already in China this season, Ali Carter's been a finalist in Wuhan. He was one of Judd Trump's 3 victims, but lots of ranking points there for the one-year list, also cementing his top 16 place as well.
Three.
Didn't progress at the Crucible. He lost to Jack Jones, didn't he? And I think he certainly has proved that he's a force to be reckoned with again.
Yeah, I think there's certain players, and we saw one earlier actually, Stephen Maguire, they sometimes fall away a bit, but you kind of think they're going to get it in because they're just so good. And Ali certainly falls into that category. He was a top 16 player who wasn't in the top 16 for a while, but he got his place back, of course, that winning. But as we've already seen today, you know, the strength in depth in the game means there are players lower down the rankings who can put together really strong performances. Jordan Brown, Tom Ford, both in the semis.
Well, lots of things, basically. It's one thing being over one ball, but there's two there. Very difficult shot, this, and cue ball's kind of heading towards the black anyway. Even if he does get the pot. He's done that ever so well there. Very good shot.
Yeah, there were a lot of things to hold there and a lot of things that were sort of moving, but he couldn't really, from where he was, have finished any better.
48.
Chance to continue, won the safety battle. Looking to...
Tricky little shot to hold for the black here. Played it well. I mean, they're all competitors, but with Carter, you just know that you know, he kind of almost snarls a little bit. He's out there trying as if his life depends on it, and it's good to see because that's what snooker's about. You've got to give it your all out there.
43.
Doesn't very often leave much behind. Well, in fact, there was nothing that went. I have to say, I thought he was on that left red, but clearly not. So he'll be annoyed that he didn't finish off the job that he'd started well. Only having to go with Peggy Lee to ensure that photographers, of which I'm sure there are many because you hear all the clicks. Just listening.
I said if you can take it or you don't take it, play a shot. If you can make it mute, it's okay.
A lot of clicks, sort of, which are cameras, of course, just as the shot, and perhaps just before the shot had been played. That is distracting, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've seen him more animated about it. He was very polite about all that, wasn't he? But there have been times, certainly in the UK, when photographers expecting to get pictures of him have not been there very long.
Indeed, they're getting a few snaps of outside the building after about a frame. Anyway. It's a good shot again from Carter. He's made things difficult already in this half a frame we've seen. That's what I say, that's what he has to do. Well, it's a bit of a nothing shot, but actually you wonder if O'Sullivan could put Carter in trouble here. Screwing off the bunch in behind the yellow. Certainly putting the cue ball to the cushion. I don't know if Carter's last shot was a very good one. He's got complete cover. It would be troublesome, but he has got a way of playing a containing shot here. Dump shot. Cue ball at the black end. Spoke to a couple of people about this match yesterday, and in the eyes of some, if O'Sullivan doesn't win this week, which of course he may well do, a lot of people feel that the most likely player to beat him is the man he's playing today. I mean, obviously the other half of the draw, you now have Jordan Brown and Tom Ford through. That would be the winner of that in the final. Ding Junhui. Having said that, of course, not looking too far, Jordan Brown has beaten Ronnie O'Sullivan in a ranking final. So we never quite know what we're going to get.
Well, chances come along here, and the balls have opened up as well. So the lead itself isn't worth that much, really, if he can knock this in, get on a colour. His long potting was very good yesterday. That was the one factor of his game that was impressive for sure. Ooh, but the black stake.
Get to the semi-finals, no doubt it'll be a brand new cloth and they'll be sliding in again. But even then, they're still playing easily. So handy lead in. It's a good shot from Carter. That's terrific. Exactly what he meant. Black's gone safe as well, so that makes his lead seem even bigger, 46.
Foul. And a miss. Ali Carter 4.
Very, very close to that red, didn't he? Without hitting it, missed it by a millimetre, or even less, half a millimetre.
Peggy Lee's the referee doing the replacement.
Foul.
Well, this time played with more pace, hit firmly, leaving reds and probably leaving the frame.
One.
Cue ball just going on annoyingly too far though for Carter there. There might be an argument to knock this longish blue. Nothing to do to win the frame. Still, that's a good recovery.
Of course, he was in first with 51. O'Sullivan did pot a good long red after a safety battle. Missed the black immediately, though. Carter now looking to close this out. We've seen the importance of his tactical game already. It's earned him the 2 scoring chances in this frame. This is the red then, that should make it 1-0 to the captain.
11.
Yes, and it would be the kind of frame that Carter's played here. He's taken the sting out of the occasion. He's kept him mostly in the chair. And while he'd like to win a frame in a single visit, and he's taken him a cup.
25. $31. $32.
Of course, the one thing to add to that is that O'Sullivan did get him once and miss a black off the spot, which of course we'll be thinking about sitting in that chair. But he did have his chance.
$39.
Well, it's a strong start this from Carter. Big match for him, of course, on the main table against the main man. Huge crowd.
45.
Up in semi-final with a ranking title
47.
at stake at the weekend. Whoever does win will have a day off tomorrow because we're going to one table for the semis. It's a big arena, isn't it, this Tian People Stadium? I don't think there'll be any collisions around the table. Plenty of room in this particular arena.
54.
He's got a lot of belief, Carter.
59.
And he's shown his best qualities really in this frame. Good tactical play and then making the most of 2 scoring chances.
65. And a frame, Ali Carter.
Yeah, 65 to follow the Ali Carter, world number 11, breaking off in frame 2, leading Ronnie O'Sullivan 1-0 here in the quarterfinals of the International Championship. It's O'Sullivan's 139th ranking quarter-final, looking for his 89th semi-final. But as I say, not been in a semi-final since the Crucible in 2022, 18 months ago, in a ranking tournament, that is.
That's the best shot he's hit already in this evening's session. that he did not want. Wanted to just slip past that red and be on the red above the black, but he hit it on the way down. For O'Sullivan's control of the cue ball, that will seem like a serious error. No, good recovery though. That was a tough shot, and I know that had he missed it, there would have been an element of frustration from the previous shot.
Ten. 11. $18. 19.
I think this quarter-final match was confirmed yesterday. Seemingly a lot of expectation on this match, and there's no reason why. Both players, I have to say, are in good form.
$24. 25. $31.
Well, the reason he's not on the black is because he didn't pot the red cleanly. I mean, he nearly missed the red to the left jaw as we were looking. So the cue ball swung wider than it was meant to. That's two errors in that little break, both
31.
positionally. And I have noticed that this week, even when he's been playing well. There have been shots without the usual lack of cue ball control is the best I should think the game's ever seen. But it's just been a bit in and out once or twice. From him, you don't expect it.
Well, he's not been doing those. Sullivan really is reacting when things have gone wrong. He's just sort of got on with it, played safe and trying to get another chance. So we've been saying all week, is he playing well enough to win the... So at some point, you know, on Sunday maybe, we'll have to stop asking that.
Exactly. I mean, he's playing better than the people that have been knocked out. And the deeper you get into these events, if you do get players that are less familiar with being there, you always favour the serial winners. Now, will O'Sullivan fancy this red at his best? Of course, he will knock it in, and as Dave says, he's been knocking in nation of how you're hitting them. So that won't cheer him up. Not overly close.
Yes.
请大家把手机调成静音，谢谢。
Yeah, I think the issue here is he's playing towards the crowd, so people obviously need to be still and let him play this shot.
And if he tried to go into them, the angle he was coming into them is a very narrow target to hit. But the bottom red is available. Just.
Ali.
One. Nine.
Thin edge of it. Oh dear, he's hit the wrong side of it. Now then, it's still early in the match, but Carter has been offered a bit of a lifeline in frame two that I don't think anyone else expected. Quite honestly, I haven't seen one of those missed the whole week. And it was never quite there. That was a surprise. They still nearly went in, even though it wasn't actually that close.
Well, it felt like a big visit either way, didn't it? But to fail on the first ball, it's going to be a little test for Carter. Yeah, two reds he's missed off it, either wicket. So after all that, O'Sullivan 2 pots from securing the frame.
Six. 7. 50.
It's been a rather stop-start affair in terms of the frame, but as I say, he seems to have this attitude
22.
in China this season that he'll take what comes. And that's what's happened. Carter did contribute there, though. Had a chance. Who knows how far he would have got in the clearance, but he didn't pop the first red. And O'Sullivan stepped in and did enough. Fascinating start. We're all square at 1 each.
Head and shoulders. I didn't know you had dandruff.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan has levelled up at 1-1. It wasn't a clean kill by any means in that frame, but he has levelled up with Ali Carter. First to 6 will reach the semi-finals here. It's 1-1 on table 2 between Ding Junhui and Zhang Anda. Well, that could have been a lot worse, obviously. Twist the red, but it sent the cue ball back to ball.
Yes, that's also an error in safety, just hitting the brown full on. Again, a long, straightish red. These ones you've got to hit well. Carter may have a shot here to get the cue ball in behind the brown. Certainly, while it's a difficult shot, if you've got the cue ball stuck to the brown ball, it would be a difficult escape. An awkward shot to play. I've misjudged it somewhat. It's another very fine safety shot from Ali Carter. He's vastly improved in that department in the last 3 or 4 years. World Championship in this all-round game is weak in any way. Keeps winning the little battles. He's not leaving anything easy always, O'Sullivan, but Carter is winning the battles when it comes to the tactics, the early frame shots. Slightly awkward. Now once again, Carter is outwitting O'Sullivan in the safety exchanges. It's happened again. Bringing about chances. Whether he takes them, that's the next step.
Yeah, he's been very impressive, hasn't he, tactically? But like you say, it's then about doing the heavy hitting when you have earned the chance. And Ali, he likes to stay active and stay busy, and it is a busy time. He's in the Champion of Champions, of course, winning in Germany, so that's next week. Then it's the UK Championship, so big few weeks of snooker coming up.
As you can see, the angle on the blues taking him away from the reds. I mean, he could play all round the angles to get closer because, you know, bulk colours that could be in the...
19.
Slightly in between shots there from blue to red.
$20.
Cue ball near the side cushion like that makes this difficult to play with anything but just to drop in. I mean, he really wants to get the cue ball away from the cushion. Under that cushion rail, it's so much easier to just play it slowly, this blue, like that. It's the problem with it, you end up losing the cue ball and you never get it back every shot. That one wasn't exactly worth the wait. It was a bit of a painful 25 break, that.
One.
Going to be 2-1 to Ding Junhui on the other table against Zhang Anda. Well in front in frame 3.
That's pretty good. He played into an area where he had so many possible reds to either left corner or left middle.
The cheering there was for Ding, by the way, on the other table, not that pink. The night crowd, of course, has been royally entertained by these two all week. He's just lost the white there.
Times when he has, he's slightly overcooked shots, overscrewed them, put too much spin on, rather than the other way round. Well, it's like the table is more responsive than he is anticipating. I saw him after the first 4 frames yesterday. He stayed out there and was rolling the ball up and down the table, the cue ball, and seeing if there was a roll. He seemed to be suggesting there was. And of course, because it's...
请大家尽量保持安静，谢谢。
I mean, if he's going to play straight into this bolt cushion, this is a fiendishly difficult shot to judge. It's hard to get it to work out what's going to happen. You saw how it jumped. No, I'm not even sure he played a hit that red. All I know is as soon as he hit it, the cue ball jumped because it was straight into a cushion. Might be behind the yellow here. That's where Sullivan will be aiming for. Saw the idea. Excellent. to really sort of whip the kick into the reds down the centre of the table. So when did that shot spring him into life? He's been playing okay today so far, but not with any real zest.
3. Four. Nine.
I think this is the thing with O'Sullivan. He's expected to entertain, isn't he? But of course, he's actually here to win. And it's not always going to be dazzling break after dazzling break. Sometimes he just lost his way almost immediately.
He really belted that pink to the middle with a view to getting reds in play, and he's done that. But he's still got a bit of work to do. If you can take these 4 reds with high value colours, you might need the other one. It's closer to the cushion.
70.
But just the first signs of O'Sullivan pressing on. Goodness, he didn't hit that well. He nearly missed it. He nearly missed it, and he had no reason to pinch a bit of pocket. He just didn't cue it well.
23. 24.
So he's going to need the 3.
$31.
Yes, he wouldn't have done had he taken blacks, of course, but that's awkward as well. So the same thing as trying to pop the red, I suppose.
37.
Getting on the back earlier in the break. But the other
38.
thing to say is that he'll only need the red. So he can drop the red in if he feels that way, and it should be end of frame. No need to play on a colour, and that's, I think, all he's looking at here. Hit and win the frame.
45.
Very businesslike, you know, Carter's tactical game, or even just the pace of play is going to frustrate him. Well, it's not happened yet. He's not necessarily flying here, O'Sullivan, but he's going to be 2-1 in front. You would think.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 45.
2 snookers needed.
Two.
Trying to get the snooker here.
Ali Carter,
And
2.
behind the brown was the plan. It'll be 2 snookers, obviously. So he's up against it. We see frames 1 with player requiring a snooker, maybe 2. Occasionally more, but all of that doesn't happen that often.
Well, in fact, he's had a look. He doesn't like what he sees. So it's quite a low-key frame, but Ronnie O'Sullivan just stuck to his task, and he has won it. And he's edged in front here in this quarter-final at 2 frames to 1. Back underway in frame 4. Ali Carter's broken off, trailing 2-1. Has left a potential red here. Oh, beautiful.
$13. 40.
Is this the moment he just pulls away with a big break? He's had 6 centuries in the tournament. He's been producing these bursts of inspiration. We saw it in Shanghai. 3 times in that tournament he made back-to-back centuries. And that makes a big difference in a match, of course.
21.
The speed that he plays as well. Not least just to demoralise your opponent.
$29. $30.
In one.
Thank you. 36. $37. $42.
If you can get a high angle on the blue, that will be
43.
the next part of the equation. Yeah, well, he's off straight, and I think as he's just off straight, he'll try the usual way to go into the bunch, but I think it's the only one that he has unless there's a plant. There's the shot. Oh, he's played it well, hasn't he? But it's just a difficult route. He might be on the left-hand red through the gap.
48.
You don't always fancy getting on a red from that shot, but I think he has.
$49.
Keeps looking across. I'm not sure if he's still not going to be here. Well, he popped a lot more balls, but just the eyes are just coming away from the match table every now and then.
54. $55.
Once again, the split has not gone ideal. A couple of reds to right middle, both difficult. One up the table into either left middle or down into the yellow pocket. Hampered queuing on, not straightforward either.
Red didn't get any further.
1.
Yes, and of course, if, as you say,
4.
he's got this chance again, he's squandered the last opportunity. This one isn't taken either. It would be a uncomfortable few minutes as they went for the mid-session, because it's a proper chance.
5.
By the same token, O'Sullivan will be frustrated that he hasn't sealed this frame either. Lots of work to do. He'll need plenty. He'll need a lot from here, not just up to and including anything, just every ball.
12. $13. $20.
Maybe a little glance off the other two reds here to bring them into play. Yeah, that's a
21.
lovely shot. What a chance. Combination of being delighted to make it 2 each, but also at this stage the pressure of
28.
not actually doing so from here.
29.
I wonder if this could ultimately be about blue to pink. But it's a chance he might not have got.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And of course, then it becomes almost from brown to blue, doesn't it? If you finish
36.
straight on the blue, you haven't got a shot at all on the pink. So those few shots in a row will probably be the deciding factor in this frame.
$37. $42. $44.
So coming to the point, as Dave was saying, where it is all about getting on that ping, but the two shots that precede it are also pieces of that jigsaw.
47.
The ideal angle, just top side. Slight angle, not a very big angle, and definitely not straight. It didn't. Shortish, that's good.
$56.
But he did miss an absolute sitter into that pocket, a red that was easier than this.
Left a long red, which O'Sullivan knocked in, was going well. Took on a difficult red on 60. And the question was, could Ali Carter make the clearance? And there's the answer.
5. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan led, was 60-0 up in frame 4. Ali Carter produced a magnificent 69 clearance to make it 2-2. This is the second half of this quarter-final. It's always a fascinating matchup, this, even though, as we've said, it's a very one-sided one in terms of previous meetings. 16-1 to O'Sullivan.
Yes, and you get that weird psychological balance in snooker where you get players 2-2, which suggests you should think, right, let's go again, ignore the first 4 frames. But of the two, certainly Carter, having picked up that 4th frame in the way that he did with his clearance. So it was about 3/4 ball, but he hit it almost straight on there, and quite a mistake. I mean, no shot is easy at that kind of distance, but he felt that he would get it and at least get very close to it.
1.
Well, if you're Ali Carter right now, you might not be too hopeful of coming back to the table. We'll see. Of course, he did in the last frame.
Replacement. Yeah, it's not helping matters. Handy the 2 or 3 shots.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 9.
Won't cheer him up.
No, I mean, where the balls were when he came to the table. If you said, how many will he make here? How many people would have said 9? But it went wrong immediately, holding the black spot.
One.
Goodness me. To me, black's not potable. It's been a strange old start to this 5th frame.
Ali Carter, 1.
An early shout for a possible stalemate here, with the red in wanting to take an undue risk. And the 8-point lead of O'Sullivan I don't think will mean a thing. So I think the chance of a re-rack here are increasing. These two are, you know, I don't think they're great buddies, but I don't think there's anything too bad between them. One look across, catching the other one's eye, and they might be sending the ball. Sullivan has been around longer. Oh, well, that's interesting. He might have tempted O'Sullivan into a long pot here. Red up into the top left pocket. This, I don't know where we're getting at the moment with this little exchange, you know. The red up the table is the culprit, really. It's no one wants to take a risk and play to a safety shot to bulk, understandably. But I'm not sure where this exchange is going. Well, if anything, Ronnie showed a little bit of lack of patience there. Because it was hard to think how that was all going to unfold, and in the end he's taken a risk and he's left this chance.
8.
Just feels like there's even more tension after the clearance he made in that fourth frame. You've seen it a little bit early on in this one.
$13. 14. $19.
Yeah, could have come onto the blue there, which would have perhaps given him an angle to just go into those reds. I just feel that playing on the pink was more beneficial. The reds do look a little tied up, those half a dozen down the centre. Well, when respotted, does the red go past the pink?
26. $27.
To continue, understandably, really. I thought perhaps there could have been a re-rack in this frame, but ultimately, Ali Carter has taken his chance when it's come. But he's only a few in front still. Over the line. It's a good shot. He's on that middle red, goodness, to the left corner.
35.
I mean, he... Yeah, he knew that he was making contact with the other red, but he wanted to just screw back through it almost. And again, up for the yellow, so the points aren't really mounting up. But he's still in control, more importantly.
$38. $39.
Well, it did look in the fourth frame as if his break-off shot was going to be his only shot. He went for a tough one on 60, left it in the jaws of the yellow pocket, and Carter cleared up with 69. And that one frame could have turned the whole match, because Carter's starting to look really good here. Highly focused as well on every shot.
44. $45.
Well, you can only just see enough of the red to pot it from the pink, albeit awkwardly, and the cue ball drifting down the table. So, given that he will need another red to follow it, yeah, the frame might not be quite over. Playing that pink over the top of a red with the cue ball moving away from the red's not much fun, really.
Well, now, In the last frame, Carter made a great clearance. Can O'Sullivan return the favour? That was frame ball, but it stayed out.
One.
It's actually a very sweet piece of cueing. Stroked it in. Just problem of getting from black to red. Very unusual to think that he would play that under his body, so he's going left-handed, which he's more adept at. Just awkward cueing though, isn't it? Even with the rest.
Just, would you mind to wait for a minute? Good luck.
Well, we don't like to see a player put off by a situation or distracted. He's got the pot, but he's gone too far on it.
8. Nine.
Well, I don't know if they play the blue slowly enough to just reach the pocket. That's why he's played it the way he has. Every shot is a problem at this stage.
14.
You keep feeling he's one shot away from clearing. Not even there.
15.
This is not perfect either. I suspect if he knocks the brown in, then that will be the last. Oh, he's playing yellow instead. This is as significant, if not more so, than the last frame that Carter stole.
17. $19. $22.
Well, what an intriguing contest it's turning into. It looked like Ali Carter had used that shift of momentum in his favour. Missed frame ball red. This clearance has not been straightforward.
26.
But you feel it is now with the last 3 balls on their spots.
31.
Yeah, it felt like the elements were against him. There was a brief break in play. Every red he got on was difficult, but he's kept the break alive somehow.
Another big clearance. Frame ball, he didn't get another one. O'Sullivan kept that break going despite interruptions and despite losing ideal position, just kept potting them, and he is himself 3-2 in front. It seems to be a matchup.
Distracted himself, but he seemed to brush it all off and cleared up, and that was his frame. There's player view. I always think it's very informative of exactly what it looks like on the other end of the table, and you've got an awkward safety shot, looking for a thin edge or anything to get you back to baulk. It's not always an easy route. But on the left might be an up and down safety shot off that, but if it's near the cushion, so you know the double kiss on the red. He's just trying to drop onto the red, which is, if he's playing it, it's a pretty unusual way to play the shot. And push the red itself on. I don't really understand that shot because O'Sullivan's right-handed and he might have a dart at this down the cushion. They're not the tightest. I thought that was an odd decision to make. They're just going in very easily. I could see it on maybe the tighter table we saw at the British. Sort of a ball on. The player's going to be very tempted to knock it in as O'Sullivan did there.
Three. Four.
Has he gone far enough? He wants to be on that left-hand red. So he'll just kick his foot out as if that would help in some way. Not just a fraction further down, he'd be on the red. I think the balls have run a little awkwardly in this match. So we're not seeing like a barrage of huge breaks as we have in other matches this week. You get days like that. But O'Sullivan is in a position here to press on in this match. He's in first with a
70.
is now a good chance. If he could open up a couple of frames lead,
80.
then it might be a question of how many more chances he would need to get the match won. But again, just played that well, just stroked it in.
21. $22.
This time short of pace, as you saw his head dip a little bit after he hit the ball.
$27. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 27.
Yeah, I think that'll be frustrating. Turning into one of the sometimes.
Yeah, every frame has been really hard fought and almost sort of like a decider in itself. It's battling to regain a bit of the old level-headedness.
That's an absolute screamer of a pot. That's as good as it gets at long range.
Yeah, good kiss as well.
Five. Six.
Well, all day they've struggled to get the correct angle on the blue. There'll be a recover before the semi-finals start tomorrow, which means that maybe a few days in with the same cloths on and cushion cloths, that things have changed a little bit. Maybe it's not playing as responsive as it was, this table. I'm not trying to make excuses for the players, but these two are very sort of out of character, breaking down in position quite a lot.
11.
Yeah, there's been so many shots like this, really, that you kind of expect him to get, but there's also at the same time is missable. By the way, it's 3-3. Ding Junhui and Zhang Anda just gone.
$70.
Well, Carter didn't play that last shot very well. He shouldn't really need the rest. And he dropped, but he's recovered it.
18.
Albeit, things come at a cost. Is that to end up going to bulk? Had he been right behind the red, he would on pink or black. So he's just getting out of position, shot by shot again. And it's a very important frame now. Sullivan got in with a real struggling break of not very many. And Carter's almost doing the same thing here. Well, if the first red on the right of the black goes through the gap.
$21. $28.
Well, it's just really annoying, isn't it, for both
Ali
players? I'm
Carter
sure the
28.
frustration is evident. They're just finishing. Then do you miss a pot? And I didn't expect him to miss that one, but it's just a build-up, I think.
One.
Dealt with.
Eight.
Now the angle to split them, but he has to bring them into play. And one shot here that is successful is likely to be a frame winner. Well, it's a kind of an afternoon where nothing like that is happening. I mean, usually those sort of cannons, he would push one red out of the way of the other one. The frame lives on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 15.
Mightn't be the worst shot to end the break, but it's still very much second prize. You wanted to get the frame one there.
It's pretty much full ball on both reds, essentially.
Oh dear, that's a big mistake, and you heard the cue banged into the floor.
One.
From black to red looks a natural because the red seems to go into the left middle pocket past the blue. In front, it would be hard to foresee him not clearing up here or getting over the line.
Nine.
It's not been a great frame, this, but it might be a very significant one. Carter had his chance. Missed a very comfortable red to left corner.
Yeah, they were both really struggling to control the cue ball. Actually,
16.
saw Carter just react on that last shot, leaving the red on, leaving the frame on, and O'Sullivan, who looked set to go 3-2 down, is going to be too clear at 4-2.
19.
Without really flowing at all. It's all been bits and pieces.
23.
But he did make that excellent clearance in the last frame. That has made a big difference in this match. Carter, at that point, was definitely on top.
$34.
Sullivan.
Frame 7. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan then 4-2. Just opened up maybe a significant gap here. Certainly, if he can win this frame, then Ali Carter in serious trouble. O'Sullivan's highest break 60, and that was in one of the frames he actually lost. Whereas Carter has had 4 halves.
His long game has been okay, hasn't it? He knocked in an absolute blinding long putt in the previous frame. Yeah, a bit unlucky there. I think the red cuts in fairness, but he's obviously the cube was just travelling through bulk. He doesn't know for sure if he hit a bulk colour here. Well, even worse than hitting a bulk colour.
Ali Carter 3, Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
And he couldn't do anything with the cue ball. I mean, he was queuing down on it, just cut it in and hope for the best there. So that's not going to make Carter feel better. He banged his cue when he played the shot which allowed O'Sullivan to win the previous frame. And that won't cheer him up.
Meanwhile, Zhang Anda is going to be 4-3 in front against Ding. He's on a big break next door and looking really good, as he has done this season. Pete O'Sullivan in Brentwood. Could be playing him again on Saturday.
Well, looking at this red, it's as much the red, which of course the potting angle is important, but where's the cue ball going to be sent off to in potting it? You know, I always felt when you hit the reds, albeit you can't always have complete control, but the breaks are not turning into lucky breaks, I think.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
What has made a difference, though, is when things have gone wrong like that, O'Sullivan has done the right thing. You know, early rounds of sort of home nations, you might have sort of gone for a wild pot on a colour and who knows what could have happened, but that's not happening here. He's playing business-like snooker. And he's put this frame, 5-2. He's virtually there. Obviously, 4-3 Carter has hope that he can turn it round.
Played the cue ball well. In all fairness, it was...
Ali Carter, 8.
It's looking like a match of missed opportunities for Carter. I mean, both players have missed pots today, but the ones that Ali Carter have missed have turned out to be more significant so far. I mean, this could be an excellent chance again for O'Sullivan if he can knock this red in. A little tricky.
1.
But as Dave said earlier, he's not really scoring in big numbers. Highest break was in the frame he lost. So that's the one missing piece of the action today, really. O'Sullivan is not scoring. Despite a few chances, the ball's running awkwardly.
8.
But his cue ball is not under the best of control. Here he is again, though. Chance to press on.
9.
He's at this stage of his career, he knows one thing. There are days when you just have to get the win. I think this is one of those days. There's a lot resting on this. Tournament is opened up somewhat. Some of the, so if you like, big hitters in the draw have gone out. O'Sullivan and one or two others remain. A lot of people I spoke to said that they thought that if O'Sullivan was going to lose to anybody, this...
$22. 20.
With a chance to go 3-2 up in frame 5. O'Sullivan made a good clearance and has just sort of toughed it out since then, really.
30. 31.